Hello, my friends. Good evening. Welcome back to Limbus Company. The murder on the Warp Express has been activated, and I do like W Core and all that fun stuff. So we're gonna be streaming that. How you doing, Beep? How you doing, Quentin? Let's throw down ourselves one of these real quick, see if we can get lucky. This one's for you, Beeped! If it's shit, you're gonna have a shitty day! It's shit! Oh wait, there's potential, man. Alright, never mind. You're actually gonna have your day's gonna be full of potential tomorrow. How you doing, Hulko? Alright, well, that's that. Moving on! We do have... It's a Faust. And an Otis. A little Faust and Otis. So what we're gonna do... Alright, hey, let's go to... Oh, Otis. Oh, you could slash my dimensions any day. That's pretty damn good. And then what is Faust? You know, it's funny, I haven't seen anything about these. You know, usually I'd see like previews of them or something like that. So it's better than her W core, that's for sure. The Heathcliff prosthetic one. Are you talking about the bullet or no? You're talking about a different one, are you? Oh crap! What did I have? I don't know. I've been running with the N core for a while right now. Those are fun, guys. But we're gonna be doing a lot of this W core, baby. So let's get on the train. There is this right here. Is what you're talking about. Multi-crack officer. So we haven't heard about multi-cracks, officer. Those seems pretty sweet. When this unit is hit, the attacker gains charge counted value. Okay. This is pretty good passive. Okay. Standard fare. Alright, let's play, shall we? And our bonuses, multi-cracks, get 40%, but then all the W cores get in there. Yeehaw. Maximum 120%, so what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're good. It's time for murder! Oh yeah. Alright, how'd this happen? First, we boarded the warp train to get to our next destination, P-Core. Got into our fancy first-class flash freeze hibernation capsules, and we were supposed to arrive at P-Core after a quick blink of an eye, but... Dante, please respond. There's The first thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look of Faust, who had entered hibernation at the same time as I. That's great, you guys got first-class tickets. Good for you. Then I realized that we woke up mid-transit on the warp train. So let me just catch you up what happened. So we had our little my fucking headphones. Our little, damn it, these headphones. Ah! Our little investigation on T-Core, and that led us to getting tickets to the warp train, but we never really went to the station. We just went from T-Core, and then suddenly here we are on the warp train. So you didn't miss anything. Which could only mean that we're now stranded in some lost, unknown dimension. Dante, I understand your considerable degree of disorientation, but... What? What the hell happened? I guess they all know about W-Core. Because they have those IDs. First things first. Let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in. Yeah, freeze frame. Yeah, that's me. A few days, because the warp train can actually get you to the other side of the city, which is like a country size, in like a couple seconds. Well, relatively speaking, a couple seconds. Our next destination is the warp train, Dante. What? Yep, that's where it all started. There I was, still perplexed by the incidents at T-Core with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgilius for our next station. These fucking headphones, man. I swear, I'm gonna flip my gourd. Well, the thing is that in the warp train, people don't know that it takes years upon years, and they got first class tickets, which is essentially they go hibernate. So that's their reasoning to get on the warp train, is that they actually had first class tickets. The ordinary Joe Schmo, they don't know that they're going to be 10,000 years a meat sock puppet. And then they get zapped to back what they were. They get copy pasted from when they first entered the train. There I was, still perplexed by the incidents at T-Core with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgil for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring. Verily, I must have misheard thee. Certain you heard me right, DQ. We are now en route to the T-Core warp train station. I really feel like I do not want to imitate any of these. I feel like I'd bring everything down if I tried. The warp train station must have some conundrum that must be resolved there indeed. A quest that must swiftly addressed at the station, yes? Did a distortion pop up at the warp platforms or something? I see that you're now significantly less disinclined to take on some side jobs, but no. We're boarding the warp train to get to P-Core. End of story. Nothing between the lines, so don't try reading into it. This is the weird, none of this is voiced. It's gonna be, so only the main stories are voiced. The side stories are not voiced to save on cost. They did that, I think at the start of this season to save money to focus on the main storyline. I don't think there's been any update as to if they're gonna have voiced side stories afterwards, after the next season starts. But fingers crossed. I mean, they've been making some dollary dues, right? It's only natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collected, dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W-Core, but... we're actually taking a train? Through what vague information we could gather from the identities, we all had some fragmentary knowledge about the terrible secrets of the warp train's operations. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everyone and letting them get their 2 cents in usually ends up being pretty helpful more often than not, I've been sharing more of these as of late. Though I have very dim, if present at all, recollections from the time during which I wear the identities. Can be determined from the conversational records between the manager and the identities that the mechanisms behind the warp train's operations can be deemed as somewhat bizarre and inefficient. Oh, yeah! It's that 10-second trip that actually takes a long time, right? And when the train reaches the destination, they just wipe the passengers' memories.
I also heard that the passengers get so tired and weary that they start literally ripping and tearing into one another.
Sounds like I might finally have a chance to see a masterpiece with my own eyes. Her identity for the W Corps is very inclined to produce artistic works with their sword. They always talk about masterpiece. Even when the sinners wear the identities through my identity cards, the identities' memories or beliefs don't bleed into them once it's over and done with. I remember when Faust explained that due to the risks associated with embracing such influences, there was a filtering process to intentionally block them from reaching the sinners. That's why the sinners could use the identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot.
Oh, now you explain it!
But it also meant that they couldn't retain any new information that each identity had to offer. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners.
My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but
I had an abundance of W Corps identities, so it wasn't difficult to piece together the truth behind the trains.
But, maybe ignorance really is bliss.
Your alarmed response and possible incompliance have already been accounted for.
Faust! Then thou hast known this all along, wherefore hast thou not deigned to tell me of this?
Faust has indeed known this all along, as no knowledge is out of Faust's reach. As expected, a solution to your dilemma has already been prepared. Oh, there's Ishmael. It's been a while. I seriously doubt your solution involves not getting on the train, so what is it?
Oh, the bus. Oh, what about the bus? There's no way this thing fits inside the train car.
Just put the bus in there. I'm sure there's like an industrial warp train that they use. Charon vetoes too. No one to feed Mephi when Charon's gone. The rearmost tail cars of warp trains are freight cars. Aha! That is where Mephistopheles will be safely fastened and transported. And the LCB will have the benefits of boarding as first-class passengers. The bus begins to swell with noise again, though in a slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier. First class? What, the seats for those pompous toffs?
Yeah.
Even on normal trains, you got those sods whose proudest accomplishment in life is planting their arses in first-class seats while others are cramming themselves in the freight car because they haven't the cash for even an economy ticket.
Hey, don't look at me. I've never been on one of those first-class seats before either.
Isn't the ticket for a single first-class seat like as expensive as 3-4 months' salary of a first-year wing employee? Can our budget really handle paying for all of our fares? The company's budget is not a subject that warrants your concern. I heard first-class passengers get some cool bonuses stuff like personalized private capsules or something, don't they? That is the promotional language, yes. They are flash freeze hibernation capsules to be precise. They have been designed to easily withstand the true amount of time it takes for the warp train to travel from point A to point B. The trip will be over in a blink of an eye for the passengers. The company's regard for our well-being is unfamiliar, yet welcome. To be provided such extravagance merely for our comfort, such occurrence is quite seldom. I bet you it's not because that they
I can guarantee. You know what? I can guarantee you, it's not because that the company cares for them. I bet you it's because of Dante's identity thing that they would be fucking superpowers when they leave the train, because that's why colors are banned from the warp train, is because they had an incident with one of the colors and they essentially trained everyone. So I bet you it's because Dante is special. Right, I honestly thought they were gonna slip just the guide and Charon into the first class seats and ship the rest of us in economy cars. Otis. It seems like an unnecessary luxury. They should have saved their budget and given only the executive manager and their loyal advisors access to those seats. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're taking the train to get to our next mission, alright? We have to think about unique nature of warp trains and prepare ourselves accordingly. Right. I know it's first class and all, but warp trains are just plain creepy. I knew you'd also be worried about. For example, economy passengers are going to have a hard time getting into a first class car. If they can even attempt to open it, I mean, I'm pretty sure the door separating the cars is ironclad. Ishmael, who'd been holding that first class promotional pamphlet in her hands for a while, was chattering on with a fire in her eyes. We won't even have to lift a finger. We just have to board the train, get into our capsules, shut our eyes, and snooze through the entire ride until all that mess in the other cars blows over. I heard they used to give out commemorative merch back when their finances weren't in the gutter and... Oh. The true adventurer is not without its hardships, yet even the most exalted of heroes cannot venture into respite. And in very rare occasions, the hero may even deign a select first-class seat and rest in and place a quaint inn, indeed. Seemed like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the fabled first-class seats of warp trains. I could sense that there was a growing consensus among the sinners that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant that they could ride in the first-class seats. I will board the train if I must. First class seating mandatory. I prefer the scenic route. Don't want to miss out on all the fun. She is a psycho. Virgilius pretended to not hear Ryoshu's question. Very well. I assume that we are all in agreement. Let's go. I have a matter of great importance to discuss with thee. Oh, that's right. I think DQ's event is next. What is it? Out with it, last. Beating around the bush ain't like you. DQ carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice. That is, in the first class seats, I have heard tell that we must board with our feet freed from our boots. Does that claim hold water? Come on now. What kind of nonsense gossip is coming from this time? 'Tis no gossip, forsooth. I have overheard aught from those who have walked past ere today, and when one of them inquired, you know that you gotta go barefoot in first class, right? The other responded with, of course, man, what am I, stupid? Does the traveler speak true, if male? Don't ask me, I've never been on one of these before either. I don't remember seeing anything like that on the pamphlet. Give me a sec. I mustn't be separated from Rocinante. I forgot how you pronounce that. Rocinante. Even for a twinkle, I shan't toss Rocinante to the side. How do I pronounce that? I'm sure she's going to bring that up a lot. What is the horse? How do you pronounce the horse's name? The skinny and clumsy horse.
In Spanish, you can say it as Rocinante.
Rocinante, okay. I shan't toss Rocinante to the side next to such vulgarities like the ugly shoes of Sir Heathcliff. Oh, you little... Implore thee, O illustrious red gaze, prithee grant me thy permission to allow me to board with Rocinante! I really wish she voiced that. I expected Virgilius to answer with his usual exasperated rebuff, but this time he responded in a somewhat serious, if tainted by that familiar annoyance tone. Fine. Keep your shoes on.
The Northern Fixer.
This place is huge.
That was my first impression of the Warp Train Station.
Oh, so this is.
DQ shouted vibrantly, immediately recovered from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Rocinante.
Rocinante. Ah, so each nest has one of these massive structures in them?
Eh, I've got nothing.
Alright. You know anything about what they're asking?
Heathcliff asked, gesturing toward Mersault with his chin. Every warp train station has been built with a general design philosophy that draws from their respective nest's architectural idiosyncrasies. It can also be said that many critics in relevant fields praise the warp train station as one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city.
I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Mersault like a walking encyclopedia from time to time. Mersault, young Mersault! Whoa! Is that passenger over yonder, one from the west?
Incorrect. Leather-based clothing and metal armor are predominant fashion trends often visible in the outfits of the Western population. While that individual's cloth-based style is somewhat ubiquitous observed through the population in the North and South, they are largely considered to be an Eastern fashion trend, rarely seen among Western.
Prithee, slow thyself, for I must make a record of thy lectures. What wisdom dost thou have to impart regarding the fashion of the northern region? I have once espied into a magazine that they are garbed in loose-fitting outfits, understandably so, given the colder climate of the region.
An opportunity for the first-hand observation stands before you.
Woo! Ah!
30 seconds of screaming duet, one of utter fascination, other of unmitigated frustration.
Ah, what the shit? You nearly blew out my eardrums.
You're the one to talk.
Dude, I got an audible frequency range expansion implant in my eardrums. Holy shit, man.
Ah, he's just from Boston.
Now get the hell out of my way. You're blocking the walkway like a ragtag band of hicks who's never ever seen a warp train before. Damn it. I take the train all the way here for an expedition only to lose my target, and now these assholes are trying to blow out my eardrums. Great. Just great. I love this.
Guys, is it that obvious that we've never been on a warp train before?
And the ticket fee came straight out of my damn pocket.
Hey, watch out, big fella. Someone might get seriously hurt if you keep swinging those forearms around, each holding a weapon to boot.
Prithee, wilt thou stand still for but a moment to satisfy a few inquiries of mine regarding thy outfit? Oh, yes, yes. Stand in absolute stillness for 5 minutes and I... Seriously?
The fixer, with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms, spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform.
Ah, indeed. 'Tis grand, this city of sundry odd personalities.
I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing.
I guess the city really is full of people with full-body prosthetics.
That's when Virgilius slowly walked up to our group.
Well then,
we'll rendezvous at the destination.
Huh? Was the illustrious Red Gaze not right alongside us?
W Corp policy demands that those with the title of color must board a train specifically prepared for them instead. Oh, are you like riding the first class plus or something? That's a color for you, I guess. Special treatment from the wings no matter he goes. Special treatment from the wings no matter he goes. No matter where he goes.
Karen wants to go back to Methy. Methy will be lonely.
I already told you why you can't, Karen, on 3 separate occasions in which I've bought you these multi-flavored candies. Humans are not allowed aboard the freight cars. Then Miss Faust. Yes. Verdilius, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Charon away. Dante, let us proceed this way.
We followed Faust's guidance to the entrance to our train car. Hopefully no puppeteer is on this train. Damn. Whoa. Hey, our colors are starting to come back. Whoa! Hey, these must be the fabled complimentary food and drink of the first class seats. Heck yeah, of course. Quality stuff like these gotta be included with the insane pricing. The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive-looking sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation, huh? I guess it literally freezes our bodies in a flash. Hey, Faust, are these flash freeze hibernational devices safe? Please elaborate on your exact definition of safe. These things are supposed to freeze us solid, right? Can we really come back from something like that? A flash freeze hibernation device will put you in a temporary state of death caused by rapid cellular cryopreservation process. However, the rapidity of the process prevents damage to your cell walls during the phase change. Therefore, in most normal cases, this will not cause any harm. Faust is aware that this model has fully resolved cell wall breaching issues caused by cryogenic density change or by ice crystals growth of hydrogen molecules. I am actually surprised they put this in here. That is actually what happens. I missed about half of what you said, but your point is that it's safe, right? Yes, as far as Faust is aware, even if an issue were to arise during the journey, because everyone will be reverted to their states at the beginning of the train trip upon arrival, there won't be any lasting complications from said problem. Yeah, because if you look at ice, they make little itty bitty tiny crystals, and those little itty bitty tiny crystals puncture cell walls. And that causes death! What's up, Fong? That's Faust. She sold her soul to the devil. Or that's what they say in the book. Oi, you got some real talent in dragging out something so simple as, yeah, it's safe, to so many words, seriously. Indeed, as Faust's talents are not limited to a singular field. Alright, but that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Wait, there was something odd about that way she phrased that. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong? As a general rule, Faust does not err. However, Faust is also not a divine being. There are certain information of the world that Faust is yet to have access to. Therefore, while Faust may speak the facts, what is said may not always align with the truth. Alright. Yeah. They don't call first class for nothing, I guess. Picor's way up there in the northernmost corner of the city. But this thing will take us there in the blink of an eye, huh? Yeah, it's one hell of a lifetime saver. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha! Hoo-ha! Prepare thyself, Rocante! Rocinante! Wait, how the fuck do I... Damn it! Rocinante. Right? That's how you pronounce it, right? Rocinante.
In Spanish, you can say it as Rocinante.
Rocinante! This begins the long jaunt. Oh, I've been meaning to ask, DQ. Do you ever, wash those shoes? Where'd that come from, Radya? No, I mean, like, think back when we were inside that whale. When the whale blew up, we got all kinds of that gross slimy bits on us. They were on our clothes, our shoes, everything. Please show, like, a screenshot of, like, one of those Ren and Stimpy shorts of, like, DQ's shoes. It's just the nastiest looking things. Just go and go, ah! Yeah. And do you remember how much work it took us to clean our bloodied, fishy, fleshy, gunked clothing? Hey, Otter. This really isn't something I want to revisit, but yeah. Right, and do you also remember how DQ never took her shoes off once during that whole ordeal? Okay, I guess they do look a bit filthy. I ask thee, dear compatriots, hast thou ever witnessed an errant knight who leaves the side of their beloved steed? Can't say I've ever witnessed a knight before, though. Then thou shalt know, starting now, behold it, hearken to it, and remember it well. They never quiet down, do they? Whoa. Have you been on one of these, Otis? I have been treated to a premium, VIP seats of similar grandiosity back when... This is nothing to fuss over. Otis, who was sitting there shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust a question. Hey, you're confident that no accidents ever occurred on one of these first-class cars, yes? In order to prevent cases of unnecessary anxiety and misgivings among the sinners, the history of accidents that has occurred aboard warp trains will not be shared. Oh gee, I wonder why? Wait, what? I seem to recall a couple individuals horribly maiming the first-class passengers. It was a very lovely town. Hey, I think we're leaving soon.
This is Warp Train PW612 bound for P-Core. Boarding period's ended soon.
The sinners, who were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first-class car, suddenly became a lot busier. Let us hurry and enter our capsules before it is too late. I'm like, do they just lock? What if they lock on you without you getting in there? Oh, well, shit. Oh no, why's that? The other sinners made it into their capsules, no problem, but I felt like I was the only one who's fumbling. Is it anxiety, Dante? I think so. Initiating
warp in 10 minutes.
Allow me to assist you. Stand as though you are leaning back and... Look at DQ! He's going, whoa! Faust expertly guided me into the capsule as though she'd done something like this before. Then pressed a button inside the capsule that closed the hatch. She's like, wow! This looks like... I feel like this is the new artist. Do not worry too much. We will meet again in but a moment, Dante. I thought I heard a brief sigh, but the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything.
Initiating warp. Please confirm that your seatbelts are firmly fastened.
The last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. I had no idea then what she really meant by, we will meet again in but a moment. Dante, you must wake up, Dante. The one thing I knew for sure was an inconceivable situation has occurred. That's something that's seriously gone wrong. Record scratch. Disappearing passengers. I think, if I remember correctly, they're, I think what's gonna happen is that there may have been like a lost warp train, and I think some individuals have learned how to cut through dimensions, essentially. I think that was what some of the stories of the new W-Core identities. It was that they're hunting, lost trains. We're here already? Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It all really happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive expressive. Which I suppose is why it didn't immediately register that something had gone awry. Nope, we're not yet at our destination. We got about 5,000 more years. When I finally came to, and after I had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again, and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. So this train's still running? Yep. Then, where are we? I believe we are currently stranded in an unidentified dimension. Coordinates unknown. I took a reflexive, deep breath from sheer horror of the numerous implications stuffed into that dryly delivered sentence. When that passed, the first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing that we were so worried about. I see. But as soon as I found myself calming down, yeah, this had to be part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this little situation. But this is all just part of the plan, right, Faust? That was an unusually long silence from Faust. You are half correct, yet half incorrect. With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information as she began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners. Ah, we're already here. Man, it really happened in the blink of an eye. Oh, no. Oh, what's this? We're already here for real? It really happened in the blink of an... No. Well, we're really already? I guess I really wasn't worried for nothing. No. Oh, no. Yet I have not uttered a single word. There was a brief cheer, a little hurrah about regaining our colors, followed by a flat-toned explanation of our current predicament, which was then followed by a long, loaded silence, which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching play out about 10 consecutive occasions. Dante, I understand your confusion. However, perhaps an elaboration of our present circumstance is necessary. And that brings us to the present. Let me get this right. This train's still running. And we're drifting through some unknown dimension. Oh, that about this striketh me as quite dramatic. And most importantly, are you saying that you already knew this would happen, Faust? Yes. What the hell is wrong with you, huh? The sinners each began to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Virgil intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about events in our path. What are you, insane? It's not like we can just retreat or jump out that door when the stuff hits the fan. Opening the door would result in nearly immediate destruction of the physical body. But hey, at least you know what to do like you always do. You got a plan, right? Right? Faust, whom I had never seen at a loss of words, was having oddly long instances of silence. What's up with her? Lass looks totally out of it today. She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can't discuss in front of the sinners. Hey guys, let's pause for a bit. She said that something inconceivable's happened. The other sinners' anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication is harming our trust in Faust. Alright, we're gonna go over the situation from the start, okay? But just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust, and for good. And I doubt Faust had any ill intent in waking us up in the middle of the trip. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I'll ask Faust to tell us what's happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along. Tell us what's going on, Faust. All of it. And in a way we can all understand. Let's hear her out first. Is that okay with you guys? If you say so, I'll go along with it. Fine, I suppose. Losing my rag rarely ever did anything. Thank you. Then, after some time, the gist of Faust's explanation was as followed. The cause of the issue, as always, involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W Corps caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management. Oh, we're being... W Corps is like, hey, we need you to take care of some shit, but don't tell them. Surprise! Go take care of a distortion. And decide to contract us to deal with a mysterious repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion, after multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course. The distortions themselves likely did not pose a problem for W Corps. Based on the available information, it can be determined that they would have all been neutralized as soon as the train arrived, and any transformed passengers would have been reverted to their human forms. But the real issue was that the passengers were disappearing. passengers spirited away. Alas, such is an impossibility aboard these trains, is it not? That is the question for which we must discover the precise cause and effect of. Did W Corps share anything to get us started? That appears to be the most prominent cause of this misunderstanding. She explained that W Corps refused to share anything about the trains because they were concerned about maintaining the secrets of their singularity. Maybe that's exactly why they sought out an upstart business like Limbus Company to deal with this, now that I think about it. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appeared to be a keycard with a W Corps logo on it before continuing with her explanations. However, we were given this master keycard that can open and close hibernation capsules at will. We may return to our respective capsules as soon as the contract is fulfilled and safely complete the rest of our journey as we had planned from the beginning. These bloody wings. Every single one of them has been absolutely balmy. I think it's a bit unkind of them to ask us to finish the puzzle without all the important pieces. At least at T-Corps, their chief executive director tagged along as our assistant, not to mention kindly explaining so many new things to us. Oh, it sounds like Miss Faust was stuck between a rock and a hard place herself. Subsidiaries grew more receptive as her explanations, albeit with a sigh. I would have appreciated if you at least gave us a hint. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not like there's someone out there monitoring your every move and every word, right? That is, But not everyone was willing to let this go without saying their piece. Next time I will take your inputs into account. And that's everything I can do for her. It's an undeniable truth that Faust had disappointed the sinners with what she's done. But she is Faust, after all. I'm sure she has backup plans to get us out of this situation. So what's next on our agenda? Yeah, what's done is done, right? Besides, it's not like we gotta rot away for thousands of years inside this metal box. That is something I must first discuss with Dante. Uh-oh. Discuss? But discussing things with other people is very unlike Faust. What are we discussing, Faust? I recommend that you lower your voice from this point onward, Dante. Well, why are we whispering? Her secretive attitude only served to exacerbate my already battered sense of safety. My connection to Faust has been severed. I think, isn't Gesellschaft is the engine, I think. The demon engine. Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft is an actual noun. Social relations based on impersonal ties as duty to... How about Gesellschaft Faust? So, oh, okay. So, Gesellschaft is kind of like a... Generally translated as community and society are categories which were used by the German sociologist Ferdinand Tönnies for, okay. So is Faust connected with other Faustus, like a hive mind? I'm sorry, what? I cannot access Faust's knowledge at the moment. I guess I was absolutely right to be anxious. She is a hive mind. The Faust mind. I guess she does have a... There's a... There's an event that's it's an ego event where it's like a bunch of capsules, and I think it's heavily implied that every being in the capsule is Faust except for one of them that gets punted out. What's up, Nick? How you doing? Oh, we can just throw everyone in there.
조금만.
자,
네, 출발하죠. 빨리 시작하시죠.
Fantastic. What do you mean you can't? I mean it in the most literal sense. My access to Faust's input and information, which has always been readily available, is completely severed. Oh, what if everything about this situation is something you don't have access to yet, like you said last time? One cannot completely dismiss that possibility, but even that is uncertain. Every answer Faust has given me is always full of confidence and methodical expertise. I don't think she's ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Ah, then Faust, you are... Yes, at this moment I am limited to operating only with my knowledge. I cannot discern the cause of this disconnection. More than enough precautions have likely been taken in case of interdimensional travel, but perhaps Faust did not take into account an occasion in which we may have to access an unidentified dimension such as this. Or even if it was taken into account, this particular dimension may not yet have been subject to cross-observation.
The Faust you are trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please try again later.
If that is not the case, then... no, never mind. There was nothing that suggested that my connection to Faust would be lost, not even as we boarded the train. To be honest, this is a rather disagreeable situation for me. Alright, for now. Now that changes everything. I recalled the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed, when Faust told me not to worry too much. Alright, this is just a minor setback, nothing we can't beat, right? We got this. I began to mutter like I was trying to convince myself. As the manager, my job is to calm everyone down and set their sights on future, just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. If you're right about why you were disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off the train. And if we do ever run out of options, I'll just turn the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself out too much. We still got a lot of work with you. We still have a lot to work with. Your knowledge, my clock, the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth. But that seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded. Understood. And to the sinners, the fact that we are currently confined to a warp train in operation must be a source of enough stress. I believe that sharing Faust's current state to them would add an unnecessary source of tension. Hey! What, so reckon this door ain't gonna do anything? We're all gonna bite it once it opens? How many times do I have to tell you that you're not even strong enough to break this door down? A billion years in this box. Yeah, good idea. Go on, try it, I dare you. I bet you can't open it. So, what now? Do we have to take a searching sweep around the car or something? In the grand scheme of things, yes. Faust cleared the air with a cough before continuing. By A-Corps standard time scale, approximately 3 days have passed since our departure. As per the contract between Limbus Company and W-Corps, I acquired the master keycard placed inside my capsule and adjusted the hatch settings to open automatically in 3 days. 3 days, huh? I feel like I just blinked, and I guess that's hibernation for you. As you were all informed prior to boarding, there is no way for the economy class passengers to enter the first class car. That is why this place has remained untouched. However, cross-referencing my own deductions and W-Corps' rather fragmentary explanations, I can assume that the situation is currently under progress in the economy class cars. The part where they thrashed the shit out of one another, tearing their limbs off, all that mess? No, I doubt that. I don't think it gets that bad in just 3 days. Besides, that's supposed to be business as usual for W-Corps, right? There must be something else that's out of ordinary that they want us to deal with. Precisely. In my opinion, it is... Whoa! Hold on! Hold that thought for but a moment. Just as Faust was about to continue, DQ raised her index finger to her lips and signaled her to be quiet. Does Dost thou hear aught as I do? Scratching, nay, rapping. Forsooth, past this gate must be. As DQ kept listening with her ear to the door, an odd expression of half curiosity and half horror appeared on her face. It is possible that there must be, Lady Faust. After that very distressful noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust, who closed her eyes briefly and thought. Please step aside for a moment, DQ. It would be best if I observed with my own eyes. With that, she produced the master keycard from her pocket and approached the panel installed next to the door. Whoa, hang on a minute. You gonna open the door? I intend to follow your usual flavor of suggestions, Heathcliff. That there are times in which a physical altercation is preferable to detached ruminations. I suggest... well, I ain't gonna disagree with you there, but what's gone into you, lass? After all, how could I deduce anything without seeing it myself? After a brief mechanical beep, hideous creature suddenly crashed through the open door and charged wildly in our direction. Craving blood bag. Gain offensive levels. Oh, cool. They have the staggers all here. Win rate, go!
공간을 뭉갠다. 내가 눈에 새겨주지.
모을 필요는 없겠군요.
승객 무력화 확인. 승객 무력화 확인.
Ah, I love the W core.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
모을 필요는 없겠군요.
승객 무력화 확인. 제압 완료.
Punch kick, punch kick.
자, 이번은 이쪽으로 모으고.
Lady Faust, however similar in appearance they may have been to the passengers, verily 'tis as though they were in complete want of sense. Like people palletified by the whale. DQ hesitated until the last minute before raising her weapon to fight them. She hangs her head mournfully. Normally, Faust would have told her more information about those monsters before the fight began, and she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. Faust began searching the area, closely observing various bodies and the general area for information. You appear particularly inquisitive today, Miss Faust. Yeah. Aren't you usually the one who has all the answers while we're racking our brains trying to come up with something? The Sinners are starting to feel that there's something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust right now. DQ. They are not dead. Huh? Observe closer. the parts are all tethered to one another by something, are they not? Oh! It appears that the flow of time has ceased in this space, therefore it follows that the connections that tether bodies to life and away from death remain intact. To my relief, Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on like her usual self, even if it took her slightly longer than it usually does. Hey! What'd I say? We got this! Huh? What was that about? Oh, nothing. But I'd forgotten that not all sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust had told us. The flow of time has ceased aboard the warp train, is it? Yiseng grew pensive, seeing that Faust's lips parted for a moment before closing shut. I was starting to get a good read on her. That was an unmistakable look of regret, no matter how short-lived. Howbeit, would it not be more accurate to muse that the flow of time has decelerated to the point where, to an extra-dimensional observer, it is slowed to a stop? What is your perspective regarding that suggestion? Yes, that is most rational suggestion, Yiseng. Did Miss Faust just get something wrong? Wow, Yiseng sure is a time expert, right? Can you summarize it in easier language now that we're talking about it anyway? Gladly if you would allow me. Yiseng began to elaborate with gentle enthusiasm. That was close. To speak in brevity, it can be said that death is not an element aboard this train. And can you maybe speak in a little less brevity? He is a pretty smart lad. To elaborate. Verily, this one's heart beats still. DQ lowers her head and listens closely to whatever appeared to be a dismembered torso, and shouts with relief. Their state is akin to an unassembled jigsaw puzzle, merely immobilized and I wonder... Because I wonder if this is the train that the puppeteer took over. Because I don't think they ever talked about that train ever being recovered. Or they didn't talk about that. She just showed up with all her puppets. So I wonder if this might be the train, or maybe their because they did look like her. They had the same color scheme that she had. Their state is akin to an unassembled jigsaw puzzle. I forget her name. What was her name? I don't care about those guys. I know about the puppets. Jae Hyung was the guy, but then who was the lady? I think the lady was actually the vampire. Yeah, there was this guy. But then he had the lady that was... I think she was a vampire, actually. She actually was called Nosferatu. No, that was the ego. Where's she at? Elena. This lady. Yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah, their car for about a couple days was pretty calm-ish. And then they went into like some catatonic state until it was time for them to get creative with the passengers. Their state is akin to an unassembled jigsaw puzzle, merely immobilized and separated. Though their corpus has been sundered, the concept of death is at a state of, for all intents and purposes, eternal delay aboard this train. Existence in continuance of moratorium. Yeah, so they... Jae Hyung? He went to the first class, and he was like, "Oh, these damn first class passengers," and then he turned them all into puppets. Like, horrible puppets. And then they turned the economy class into Lovetown. Forced they are to be tethered upon the thinnest yet tenacious thread of life. What is this right here? I'll understand what has been said here, yet they are not dead all the same. If their severed parts are all connected, then it can be said that no matter how entangled their bodies become, it is not impossible to eventually gather their parts together to form a single passenger. Sick, ill. Gotcha, ill. Thus, naturally, we can determine how and why the profession W-Corps cleanup agent has come to be. I see. Because someone will have to categorize and reconstruct these puzzles once the journey is over. It's really baffling to me that a job like that even exists. Ever seen a wing that wasn't baffling in every sense of that word? Still, I guess that means that as long as the train arrives at the station, they'll all be put back together like nothing happened. Okay, I get you now. I do not understand, but in DQ's vernacular. From what I learned through the W-Corps identities, their main job was to gather chunks of flesh together to bring them back to their original shapes before they boarded the trains. It's a lot more visceral when I have to look at it in person. Whew! That is quite the auspicious news among ill tidings indeed. That's a lot. That flows a lot better when it's when it's not before I. It soon clicked in me what Faust was, though with some effort, trying to do as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Maybe Faust was trying to cheer DQ up in her own way. The other Fausts would not find it even necessary to do something like that. Dante. What's up? Oh, time to whisper, right? Indeed. I intend to collect further intelligence. Well, if there's anything I can tell you... Faust cast a dark gaze towards the chunk of flesh. Her gaze remained fixed upon them as she whispered. Are they distortions or abnormalities? Oh yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. They weren't humans, that's for sure. From them I felt the same sensation I felt from monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation or an aura. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't quite pinpoint the source of this sensation. One thing I do know for sure is that this sensation was not the same feeling I got from abnormalities, distortions, or even the Picatula. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those. Is it difficult to be certain at the moment? Again, I'm not sure how I can explain this, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, then I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know. Faust may know, but I, at this moment, have no way of knowing. I feel like I should apologize for that. There's no need, Dante. Though the information you have provided me is rather ambiguous, it has helped me deduce something of worth. And collecting intelligence myself and creating deductions based on sparse information is quite... She paused, holding a bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands. Did she just smile to herself with a gore in her hands? Woo, finally, the awakening has begun. She's having fun learning!
정리가 예상보다 일찍 끝났군.
She's learning!
다음 정리 전에 휴식을 취하도록.
The multi-crack office. Ooh, sippy. Another one. Yeah. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we opened the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion. Take care, Quinn. Ah, it sounds like there are other survivors. Ah! Passengers in danger! Worry not, for I have arrived! Ugh. Angela? No. Definitely not. Whoa, whoa, don't come any closer. Who the hell are you guys? A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path. She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away. Right, like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open. Would you mind moving that huge sword out of our faces? It's a bit disconcerting. Threatening? I'm just trying to protect those civilians in this car. Also, is that a bioprosthetic? Must be an older timer. Must be an old timer, huh? I thought those things went out of style forever ago. Oh, you want to see what this old timer's got left in him? Aha! Thou art from the north verily. Thy garb is that of the northerners, no? This really ain't the time, lass. Anyways, it looks like we're in the same mess here. Make way for us, yeah? She seemed to be sizing us up for a moment. Nah, how do I trust you? Got any proof that you ain't bitten? I'm not gonna let all my effort protecting this place go to waste. Bitten? The bloody hell you talking about? Weird. Yeah, weird. You look completely lost. If you were in one of the economy cars, I'm sure you've seen... Hey, hold on. Are y'all from the first class car? Yeah, we just woke up from our capsules. But none of you look very, I mean, aren't first class seats supposed to be, why don't you say so from the get-go? Name's Sasha, multi-crack office rep. With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass. Have you not left this car for the duration of the ride, Sasha? No, I haven't. We warped over to the T-Core after picking up one of their contracts, but geez, can you believe that this train broke down? Shit, is it even broken? I'm not feeling hungry or sleepy at all. Oh no, she doesn't know. I'm not feeling hungry or sleepy at all. It stinks of some shady bullshit if you ask me. You can feel all that even in the prosthetic body? Man, how could I live with my favorite hobby, drifting into a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? So I made sure to get high quality parts for him so I can still feel hungry and sleepy. I like her. Hasn't something else of note have occurred? Yeah, you bet your ass did something else of note gone down? How distracting. Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper? Or at least stop swinging your arms around like that. Can't do that, friend. I broke all my prosthetic arms in a fight, so I'm calibrating a new set. Gotta keep swinging them around if I want to sync up with the other parts anytime soon. Anywho, I don't know what the hell's going on, but people started turning into some weird monsters all of a sudden. Haven't a goddamn clue as to who they are. They don't seem like they can understand us either. Good thing my train car didn't have a lot of those monsters. I just chopped what monsters there were to pieces and hauled the civilians to this vacant car. 3201 red colors, 3202 red colors. You have decided to protect them despite the potential risk that they may transform as well. Ah, but of course! 'Tis expected duty of any valorous fixer to stand guard in the front lines against evil to protect the weak. Yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on them for the last 3 days, and so far, 0 transformations. Go past this car and you'll see what the hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way to the front of the train. So if you ask me, I'd wager that some shit went down there at one of the train cars in the back. Spread like wildfire until it reached here. I see. And that's all I can tell you about the situation. So, what's your story? Why'd you rich first-class folks decide to suddenly grace us peasants with your presence? Yep, it's Sasha. Nothing that's happening here could have made you made it to your swanky first class cars. So what's your business down here? W Corps has hired us to solve this case. We are fixers. Indeed, fixers. Faust wore a look of reluctant acceptance as she affirmed DQ's declaration. Huh, they got every single one of you a first class ticket. Your office must be rolling in the dough. Wait a goddamn second. So W Corps already knew that this would happen. But, are you really contracted to a wing? Not sure if I trust ya. As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance for fixers. With that in mind, please recall that W Corps is one of the most secretive wings of the city. Non-disclosure agreement, huh? Makes sense. I wouldn't want to deal with those oofy boys either. Anyway, I'm still gonna have to ask for proof that you're actually contracted by W Corps. This is the master keycard given to us by W Corps. I believe that it can open most doors aboard this train. Faust produced a master keycard from her pocket. I guess there isn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Corps. What's up, Super? Keycard? So you use this to open the path between the first class and the economy class car. Let's see, W Corps logo. Whoa, nice material. Looks like you're telling the truth. Alright, I won't pry. Not like there's any cash in it for me either. So I guess you gotta go all the way down there for your job, huh? Yes. The fixer finally got out of the way, then with one of her free hands pointed towards the opposite door. Well, it's your funeral, ladies and gents, or your victory lap, if you guys are really that good. Lots of luck to y'all. I thank thee for the words of encouragement, Fixer Sasha. I shall trust thee with protection of this fortress. Prithee, protect the innocent in my steed. Well, yep. We might be going to Lovetown too, Super. Oh no, there's a curious child. It will be Lovetown. Big sis, are you a fixer? Are you gonna save us from the monsters in the car behind us? Oh? Just as we were about to reach the other end of the car, a little passenger pulled up DQ's coattails. Hi, forsooth. Wow, are you a famous fixer? Forsooth, once again! Thou mayest know me as profoundly illustrious fixer! Wow, I want to be a fixer too, just like you. Don't pester the lady. I'm sorry, she's my daughter, and... Worry not thyself, 'tis no bother at all. Thou must be dreaming to become a fixer thyself, little squire. It is fortunate that someone like yourself is aboard the train. Your presence ensured that child's survival. What you talking about all of a sudden? Come on, no need to keep up appearances between people in the same line of work. I'm just here to collect some sweet, sweet emergency contract fees from each and every one of them. Are you two on something or what? I see. I don't think DQ needs to hear what she just said. Didn't know you could be like that, Faust. Be like what? You knew there was no way the fixer was actually there to protect them out of the pure goodwill, but you decided to go along with DQ's delusions anyway, am I right? I want to catch you up. W Corps contracted us to solve a problem. They didn't tell us what the problem was, but we're investigating what the problem might be. Faust has been disconnected from her hive mind, so now this Faust is the only Faust with this knowledge right here. There you go, you're caught up. And it's been 3 days in the warp train. Good move. I was getting worried about what might happen if she started acting out again. You saw the twinkle in her eyes too, right? DQ's always been energetic, but she's been especially bouncy today. Also, we have been talking about how DQ never washes her shoes. Ever. Eyes. Faust strode towards Sasha with the question. I have one last thing to inquire. It'll be 30,000 per injury. Per inquiry. So she said she was disconnected from... It was a German word for essentially a community or a hive mind. So, I guess she may have mentioned it before, but this Faust is connected to all other Fausts of all other places. But since we're in this lost dimension, this Faust is the only Faust that has knowledge. So she's essentially local service only. That is quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of work as us. Have you considered the possibility that once our contract is successfully completed, we could include references to a particularly cooperative associate office in our report to W Corps? Whoa, you serious? Well then, let me hear it! Were the eyes of the monsters you faced red, by any chance? Sasha paused her swinging arms for a moment upon hearing that question, appearing to either be in thought or trying to recall something, then answered. I don't know, it was pretty hectic battle in a narrow hallway. I don't have the wherewithal to get a good look at their eyes. Is it something important? Also, Faust may or may not know what's going on. Well, for one, my prosthetic eye is red. The passengers over there's got red eyes. Oh, and there, that lady with the big sword's also got red eyes. What is someone out there paying cash for info on red eyes or something? No, well, it was a question of no significance. Faust nodded lightly in her direction, then opened the door to the next car. It was just as we had feared. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight out of a painting of hell. It's only been 3 days! What is wrong with you people? Look at that face right there.
싱싱한 풀이 보이네.
They're all wearing... they're all pretty much dressed up in economy class, T-Core stuff.
충전 기능 점검. 말씀의 점검. 승객 무릎. 확인.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Random bullshit, go!
공간을 뭉갠다.
방해물을 제거합니다.
다음은 어디요?
승객 무력화. 확인.
그다지 유쾌하진 않군요.
제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
맘. 자, 다음은 어디요?
Mum.
정리가 예상보다 일찍 끝났군. 보고서는 내가 작성해 둘 테니 다음 정리 전에 휴식을 취하도록.
Alright, let's go. Battle, battle, battle.
저와 같이 달려나가겠소.
So don't forget, everyone up on the walls is alive still.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
공간을 뭉갠다. 눈에 새겨주지. 헛! 승객 무력화 확인.
방해물을 제거합니다.
제압 완료. 승객 보관 준비.
자. 다음은 어디요?
맘.
I'm like, wait a minute.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
They're replacing.
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료. 승객 보관 준비.
자, 진정하세요.
벌써 끝나는
Hey, slash resistant. No, it's normal. Smash is weak against smash.
자, 리본은 이쪽으로 모으고
그다지 유쾌하진 않고
제압 완료. 승객 보관 준비.
쉬시게.
다음은 어디요? 자. 다음은 어디요?
The space has been ripped!
Huh. Battling in a narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you. Too bad making big movements when there's not a lot of room to move around and takes more energy than you might think, especially for people like us who use longer weapons. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we'd fought earlier, but it was inevitable that their sheer number would eventually wear down the sinners. Well, what are these things, Faust? Yeah, I've been wondering that too. Why are you so tight-lipped all of a sudden? Yeah, just poke them, dummies. Those entities are... those entities are... What do you think those entities are? What do you think they are? Huh? Didn't I just ask you the same question? Oh no, are you giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Of course. Faust did not confirm nor deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of interpreting her silence in his own fashion. There were some things I learned after fighting them, I think. These monsters aren't mad at us, nor do they want to attack us because we're an obstacle. That's not why they're attacking us. Quite. 'Tis apparent that they hunger for out, charging at anyone and anything in a desperate quest of it. Right, that's strange, though I thought hunger or thirst wasn't a thing aboard these trains. It could be determined from the entity's attack patterns that their offenses were not based on rational thought. The source of this behavior can only be traced back to primal aggressiveness. Yes, and was there anything else? Anything else? Oh yeah, I think they all had red eyes. Their bodies wreathed in blankets of red. Smelled blood. Oh, that's likely what they're made of.
Then it must be that the red was congealed, nay, crystallized blood. Thank you all. Your input has been very helpful. It is my turn to start whispering. What'd you learn from that? We are in luck, Dante. I have read upon this subject as a tangent while perusing information regarding our next destination, moments before we boarded the train, and while that will be a useful element in resolving this situation, the sinners have also been very good source of intelligence when it came to categorizing and identifying important evidence from the available sea of information. Your advice was correct, Dante. You mean, you know what to do to blow this case wide open? Nothing can be said with absolute certainty at the moment, however, this will be a good place for us to start. With that, Faust turned around and faced the rest of the sinners. I will now present before you a solution to this predicament. Huh? Is there something else we gotta do other than beating the crap out of whatever's in our way? That will not change, no. However, what I'm about to share will give you a better understanding of the purpose behind W Corps' contract and provide us with a possible means of finding the method by which we may complete it. It is of high likelihood that the entity behind the incidents on this train, and by extension every incident of the same nature that has occurred in previous warp train trips, is a blood fiend. Dun dun dun! Foss, tell me what a blood fiend is! You gotta tell me, Foss, what is it?
정리 작업 시작합니다.
Wait, a blood fiend? What's a blood fiend? Wouldn't it be funny if Tomari came back? A blood fiend? What in the name of wings is that? Eh? You of all people haven't heard about blood fiends. Thought you were a team expert on obscure lore. Verily, I have not once heard mention of these blood fiends. Perchance I have left a magazine article slip from my memory. I was thinking about that. Because I don't think they ever talked about the train that was ruined. Because they just showed the people escaping from the train, but they never discussed the train itself because it was still pretty fucked up. Did it complete its journey? I don't know. Is it lost in space? Maybe. DQ furrowed her brows, but this train did. Actually, we don't know if this train. I mean, it could all be a setup. Well, I guess we'll find out. DQ furrowed her brows, genuinely lost. It was as though the very words sounded alien to her. I thought they were just monsters in stories to scare children in the night. They're supposed to be afraid of garlic and sunlight. It is her! Wait a minute! What if she infected the people on this train before she left? Maybe that's what happened. Because she was a vampire. So she may have bit a couple people. Ooh, that sounds a bit different from what I've heard. I heard their fear of garlic and sunlight is just a rumor. And what they're really afraid of is water. So, if I remember correctly, in Ruina, there was a T-core box on the warp trains, but I don't think they went into any more information about it. They just talked about how T-core had items on the W-core trains. I think it's just T-core is taking the time from this place and using it as currency in their district or something like that. I mean, who knows, right? I've been briefed on the existence of blood fiends in the past when I served a commanding officer. Yeah, they do collab, yes. And I've seen the dregs that they command. Though my memory isn't very clear, I am quite certain that these monsters here do not resemble what I've seen.
I've seen one who called themselves Bloodfiend among the fingers, but the things that Bloodfiend commanded weren't like these rubber-textured ones. What's up, Caden? It's time for that Limbuthy. There's something off about this one. That one didn't spawn these dregs with abandon like this. But aren't you supposed to know this already? Yes. I see that some sinners may have encountered blood fiends in the past. A long-winded explanation seems unnecessary. As many of us stated thus far, the entities we faced in this train do not appear to be blood fiends. In a sense, they are dreg-like beings that have failed to become kindreds. They are referred to as blood bags among relevant parties according to the information I'm aware of. Not a terrible name. Why would anyone name someone blood bags? As it has been said prior, it is impossible for the passengers to disappear aboard warp trains under normal circumstances. Though our reserve of intelligence regarding the warp trains or W-Core is vast, if incomplete, we could not find a possible exception to the above rule. Within that reserve of intelligence, however, I have discovered that inserting a previously unseen variable into the equation allows for a formulation of a new hypothesis. Wait, you're saying that these blood fiends can completely erase people or passengers from existence? A more accurate descriptor would be to say that they are either dissolved or vaporized. Dissolved? No matter the degree of violence the passengers may indulge in, no matter how severe the damages may be, the warp trains can revert them to their initial states at the beginning of the journey. Among several interpretations of the word violence involves cannibalization, of course. Ugh. However, as the passengers' collective time itself is in moratorium for the duration of the train's operation, digestion is not a biological process that should be active. In other words, even the devoured passengers could be reconstructed. If they are merely stuffed into the digestive tract, then I suppose they could get the passengers to retrieve the chewed up chunks of other passengers and piece them back together via the vein-like things connecting each individual. However, such is not true for blood bags. Blood bags are, by their nature, obsessed with blood. Their existence hinges on supplying themselves with blood of their victims. And it is said that they must consume a minuscule amount of blood to maintain their forms. Wait, what? Didn't you just say that digestion's not a thing while we're on the train? If I were to continue my deductions, perhaps consumption of blood for blood fiends and blood bags is a fundamentally different process from our consumption of nutrients for energy. To them, blood is a culmination, an entailment of something that forms the self, including but not limited to emotions, ambitions, wealth, purposes of existence. Then it must naturally follow that they can spend their blood at will, which is a process that is isolated from other biological processes, such as digestion. What? I ain't following even half of that. You exist in moratoria of time at the present moment, Heathcliff, yet your emotions still persist, do they not? Anger, sorrow, and joy, they continue to spark within you. Well, I suppose they are. Though we cannot tell whether they may be in a state of alteration or whether they remain ensnared in the wheel of creation and destruction, it can be said that emotions once past exist not in continuation. The passengers' will to persist the worth of this very existence in which they thrive, do they not all gently atrophy into non-existence even amidst the ceased time? Miss Foss seeks to illustrate the similarity between how emotions are to ourselves and how blood is to blood fiends. Gotcha. So that's why she said their blood is vaporized, huh? If that's the case, then the very blood that's supposed to bind these chunks of flesh together will also evaporate, which means that they can't be pieced back together. There's no incongruence in that logic. Everyone fell silent for a moment. That was way too much information to process at once. We didn't even know what to make of them either. I would like to ask a few questions if you would permit me. No! Yi-Sang was the first to break the silence. Could it be said that blood bags are direct creations of blood fiends? If such is the case, then by which method do they? That information is inaccessible at the moment. Foss replies, avoiding Yi-Sang's gaze. there isn't anything I can do about this. The sinners will only get more stressed if they find out. And that's something Faust and I both want to avoid. Inaccessible. Ah, indeed. Now I recall what you have said in the past. This is only a speculation, however. I assume that a form of direct physical contact is needed to turn an individual into a blood bag. If such were not the case, then we, who are likely the greatest obstacles to this entity's goal at the moment, would have been the first ones to be turned. Indeed. In that case, that villain of a blood fiend must be hiding out somewhere aboard this train! Indeed. If we are to believe the words of the fixer from earlier, then there is a high likelihood that the horde is advancing in this direction from the back of the train. In other words, continuing down the train cars will lead us straight into the blood fiend. Very well! I shan't forsake this opportunity to bring peace to the souls of the innocent passengers who have perished by the villain's hands. Dante? It seemed that DQ was now invigorated. The other sinners also seemed satisfied now that we had a clearer sight of our goal. Faust, who stood amidst them, nodded in my direction. Well, then let's go. We're making the best of what's available to us at the moment. Let's move forward for now. Oh, they got a W core. Feral bloodbag cleanup agent.
방해물을 제거합니다. 방해물을 제거합니다.
What's up, Divine? There he is, there's that boy! Woo! Yeah, it's you!
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
They are substituting in.
충전 기능 점검. 단순의 정리.
You have the stagger sound as your phone notification. Oh, that's a good idea.
승객 무력 확인.
That is such a nice, just
충전 기능 점검.
crisp sound, isn't it?
승객 무력 확인.
Bum.
방해물을 제거합니다.
벌써 끝나간군. 승객 무력 확인.
I need random bullshit. Go!
방해물을 제거합니다.
Yep. There's a couple new identities as well. Well, there's one new identity, two new identities, yes, and then one ego that they dropped.
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료.
It's a Faust and a Heathcliff. Energy based.
자, 진정하세요.
I did do a roll at the beginning of stream, and I got Potential Man again. So I'm like, all right, we're done.
모을 필요는 없겠군요.
It's like, oh, gotta go.
훌륭한 전시회였어. 하, 이걸 오히려 고맙다고 말해야 하나?
So there's this one as well. Multi-crack is what they're called. Oh, the cleanup agent.
정리 작업 시작합니다.
So many cracks.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
I'm like, let's actually not random bullshit. You can bring them all into the fight, but as they die, they get substituted in. That's how that works.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Yes, multi-crack does do bonuses as well.
공간을 뭉갠다. 승객 무력.
W core is 20% up to 120%. The multi-cracks are 40% each.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하라. 승객 무력화 확인.
방해물을 제거합니다.
맘.
지금이 기회인 것 같소. 다음은 어디?
Rip space!
공간을 뭉갠다.
They also can substitute in people, as you can tell.
승객 무력 벌써 끝맘. 충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리.
Look at all that shield! Holy crap!
맘. 맘.
이 스며들 듯한 비. 우산이 세진하는 성. 단숨에.
Manager Esquire, halt! Behold this poor fellow, he lives still! DQ, her round eyes wide open, began sprinting somewhere. Oh, stay away from me, you monster! Hey man, we're not those monsters. You alright? Huh? That arm. You started to mutate too, aren't you? You must be turning into a bug-like monster. Ah! What? No, this is, Gregor stumbled for words before chuckling and casting his gaze toward the floor in disbelief. Oh, his roach is right there. I just noticed him. Yeah, well, no surprise there. I suppose there's no way to tell right away whether this is an arms monster, a prosthetic, or whatnot. It is possible that you are mistaken due to his bioprosthetic being of an older, outdated make that is now rarely seen in the city. What's up, boss? Ah, prosthetic. That's a relief. I thought those crazy bastards were trying to break in again. As you can see, my legs are messed up. No choice but to hide in here. No, I'm not a librarian. I'm a clock. So what are the W Corps employees doing aboard this train? Yeah, you're right. But when we found out about the warp trains through the identities, I can't imagine why any of them would ever willingly board this train. You clockhead! You're the contract fixers, right? We were ordered to assist you with your contract. I said we, but I'm the only one left. Every single one of my colleagues suddenly began losing their minds in that car over there, and This cannot be, Faust! There is truly no way to cure the blood bags! My apologies, the access to that information is prohibited at this moment as well. Though her voice and expression were both as serene as always, there was something gloomy about the way she said it. You paid for the tickets, you're getting on the damn train! I may have been too reliant on Faust in too many places. Faust muttered in a barely audible volume. I don't know what I can do to help the sinners in a situation like this either. I'd also grown too used to Faust's omnipresent omniscience because I could always trust it to be there for us. I was starting to realize that I don't have the means to consider and make my own decisions at moments like these. No, maybe I was too reliant on everyone else's. So they actually did discuss the memories of the IDs. Is that there's a safe system where Dante knows of the memories of the IDs, and he's been kind of giving them information if they ask for it, but the sinners themselves don't actually retain the memories of their IDs. It'd be too much information for them to process, because there's, you know, all that kind of shit. So Dante knows, and he tells them if they want to know, but they don't know anything about it. They don't remember anything about it. And they just talked about that just a little while ago. Maybe I was too reliant on everyone else. If when the time comes for them to rely... They also made a little thing where they said that's one of the reasons why they can take the ID of their enemies and not be swayed by their philosophies. If when the time comes for them to rely on me, when they can no longer function as they usually do for whatever reason, can I really manage them well? Lead them to the right answers? Doubt colored with fear begins to rise in a dark plume of smoke. Well, what can I do, right? The agent struggled to some corner of the room with his wounded leg and pulled on a lever. They made good use of this space. And the wall behind what had initially appeared to be folding chair for employees spun open. Ooh! What are the names of the wings of this? Perchance thou hast hidden here a weapon most powerful, a weapon most feared by the blood fiends. That holds some resemblance to a capsule we saw on the first class car. But why would that thing be here? The cleanup agent slumped into the pod that appeared in the wall. Finally. What is it that thou seeketh to do? W Corp prepared a small hibernation pod for employees in case of these emergencies. Verily then, huh? Good luck with the rest of the mission. With that, he settled into the capsule and shut the hatch behind him. When the door covering the pod closed, only the folding chair and the wall covered the viscera remained. See you later! Bye! Yeah, Faust is the only one that really knows about it too, because she's the collection of Fausts. She's the internet, and she's disconnected from the internet for now. He's gone. There he goes. He has departed the scene. We blankly stared at the wall the agent disappeared into. Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, she called it as the German word for like a community, quote unquote, a community, which is I don't necessarily think a hive mind. I just think it's more like let's say Faust has access to the forum where other Fausts from other dimensions can post, and we'll say that she can get that information. But right now, she does not have that. Yeah, it was like just Delsterman something. It was a longer word than that, but yes, she has access to the Faust community board. Then I guess we gotta. That's true. Encore Faust shitposts on it all the time. Let's move on to the next car. Keep on keeping on. Let's see, what did they call it?
훌륭한 전시회였어.
Just there was. She said it was a
고맙다고 말이야.
Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft is what she called it. She said, "I do not have access to the Gesellschaft."
정리 작업 시작합니다.
내가 눈에 새겨주리.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Not so random bullshit. Go.
공간을 뭉갠다.
이상 승객을 정리합니다. 자, 진정하세요. 이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Now we can do random.
승객 무력화 확인. 헛! 벌써 끝나가네. 내가 눈에 새겨주지. 공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비. 헛차!
모을 필요는 없겠군요.
Who keeps distorting my screen?
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
I'll assume the error is when they reinforce.
승객 무력화 확인.
자, 다음은 어디요?
헛! 충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록. 헛! 승객 무력화 확인.
Big kicks.
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
자, 이분은 이쪽으로 모으고
No, it's not when they it's not when they reinforce. It's probably when they get coagulated blood or something.
정리가 예상보다 일찍 끝났군. 보고서는 내가 작성해 둘 테니
Wow.
다음 정리 전에 휴식을 취하도록.
I got 612. I can get the Heathcliff. The multi-crack. Nah, we'll save. We're fine.
정리를 시작하겠어.
A lot of struggling going on right now.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
공간을 뭉갠다.
방해물을 제거합니다.
지금이 기회인 것 같소. 다음은 어디요?
제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
Hey, no problem. We've been. Oh, who's this? The blood bag prosthetic fixer. Do you think Sasha might be the blood fiend?
맘.
자, 진정하세요.
We'll just have to find out.
다음은 어디요?
I don't know. Sasha's a cool little mini character, so they'll probably die.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
공간을 뭉갠다.
Alright, kid, and you take care.
그다지 유쾌하진 않군.
헛! 차! 헛! 차! 맘.
We mummin'. We mummin'. So many mummin'.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
자, 이번은 이쪽으로 모으고
벌써 끝나간고. 벌써 끝나간고. 맘.
그다지 유쾌하진 않군요.
승객 무력화. 확인. 제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
Mummed.
훌륭한 전시회였어. 하, 이걸 오히려 고맙다고 말해야 하나?
목적지까지 가기 위하여
Man's like story, 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 and then battle, 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 battle. Weak to smashing.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어. 헛차!
Nice.
공간을 뭉갠다. 승객 무력화. 확인. 충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 점검.
Not nice.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록. 공간을 뭉갠다.
Stop all the counters.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
모을 필요는 없겠군요. 그다지 유쾌하진 않군요.
이 스며들 듯한 비. 우산이 새지나 않는 곳에서
맘. 맘.
자, 다음은 어디요?
Oh, jeez.
방해물을 제거합니다.
They all have counters, too. Eh, it's okay, we got substitutes.
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
And Outis with a 60 shield, 60-point shield. No problem.
공간을 뭉갠다. 제압 완료. 승급 보관 준비.
다음은 어디요? 자, 다음은 어디요?
Baby game.
Something caught my attention from the corner of my eye after another round of brutal combat. Oh, there's the box. What's this now? We were on the final car adjacent to the freight car when we discovered the odd box with the T-Core logo on it. There it is! There's that box! Ah! 'Tis the emblem of the T-Core! It appears that it was broken in the fierceness of our battle. Oh great, we're gonna get fined again. Didn't that chief executive guy, Hubert, right? Didn't he offhandedly mention something about partnering with the other wings? I guess they were in cahoots with W-Core too. Such collaborations are not limited to T-Core. It is oft the case that a wing may work with another. It just keeps getting more gruesome back here. One of the prosthetic guys. It is only on rare occasion that they urgently request the assistance of a less significant, lesser-known corporation such as our own Limbus company. Their choice appears to be quite irregular. Sounds like W-Core's heydays are long behind them. Just like this wall that's falling apart, revealing what's behind. Ah, speaking of falling apart, this room sure got messed up, huh? It was difficult for me to ignore how Radya hurriedly swerved to a different subject as though she'd made a mistake. Even the tone of her voice shifted like she was catching herself. Oh yeah, in the last sub-chapter, she had a kind of, I don't want to say a personality collapse, but she has the feelings of worthlessness kind of brewing. The various destroyed prosthetic parts covered in human remains indicate that this train car was boarded by several prosthetic-equipped fixers. I can't think about that right now. Let's deal with the task at hand first. Maybe these people are from the same office as that guy we met at the platform, remember? He said he was warped over to T-Core on an expedition. Look, it almost like they all are wearing standardized sets of prosthetics. Same make, same model, everything. I believe I have read articles stating that certain offices do exclusively hire fixers with prosthetics. Wait, we were walking through the bloodied train car when we suddenly heard Sinclair's voice crack as though he saw something awful. Probably still alive. Fi! He is the one we encountered at the platform! This is the fixer who suddenly started venting at us. Yeah. And he said something about going to T-Core on an expedition and failing. They brought a whole train car full of fixers for this contract? I guess it's an expedition was no exaggeration. There are over a dozen broken arms strewn about. They must have fought valiantly by replacing their broken arms with backup arms, perchance. A strategy indeed. Oh, makes sense. That would explain all these broken prosthetic arms and legs in this car. Executive Manager, this is likely an aftermath of a battle between the Fixers and the Bloodbags. There are many similar cases during the war. Those using prosthetics would simply let their bodies be destroyed in battle because they considered them to be disposable, as long as there was cash remaining in their wallets. Of course, the blatant lack of self-preservation often led them to early graves. Maybe that's true. He's definitely not leaving with that 30K. Well, maybe he charged, he only charged 30,000 for inquiries. We don't know how much he charged for protection of those people. I see. There are more than a single possible interpretation of the same scene. I will remember both of your inputs. That's a good attitude. Employees with attitudes like yours often made it to the end of the war. Yes, well, good for them. Faust answers Aldous in an uncharacteristically snappy manner. Signs of fatigue were creeping into her pensive expression. You alright, Faust? It was rare to see any actual expression from her. I was starting to get worried. I am physically unharmed, yet... yes, I am alright. However, I do not enjoy this circumstance which we find ourselves in. It is as though I am casting nets to nowhere while lost and isolated in a blind sea. I could usually complete these deductions within moments after establishing a few basic cross-references between the accessible information. Her voice was such a whisper for the second part of her sentence that even I could barely hear what she was saying. I know what you mean. Feeling like you're completely lost, obsessively casting net after net over the black, rippleless lake in desperate hopes that one of them might pull in something we could eat. No way to tell where we are, no way to tell if there's even anything to eat under the glassy, watery surface. Grasping at the straws, you know? The sense I find mired in is not unlike your own. It is like lying my back over an unseen grave, with a reflection of radiance upon my eyes, and the sanguine scent hanging from the tip of my olfactory tells me not of the forging path. It seemed that the first part of the sentence was well heard by Ishmael and Yi Sang. However, they walked up to her and shared a few words of consolation. By the way, I don't ever recall you talking like that, Faust. I don't know what it is, but you feel different from your usual self somehow. That is... Oh, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm actually glad you learned that you had a softer side. This unseen side of yours, it is unfamiliar yet quite fresh. Is that so? She's immediately going to go back to her forums as soon as she can access it. Faust's reply was curt. She closed her eyes. Mersault, we got to get those coins out of your pocket, man. As per the information provided by the pamphlet and the platform, it is likely that the train is composed of 12 passenger cars and 1 freight car. Because we are on the 11th car at the moment, that leaves a single car between us and the freight car, in which Mephistopheles is secure. Which means that there is a high likelihood that we will soon encounter the Blood Fiend responsible for the creation of the blood bags aboard this train. Just beyond that door. Well, how strong could it be if its fighters are this weak? There were so many of them, but we practically smashed through their entire horde. A different, more accurate interpretation would be to say that a being capable of commanding a force as large as the blood bags we have defeated should be considered a high-risk entity. Although this is not common knowledge, there is a subcategory of fixers called Blood Fiend Hunters who specialize in hunting blood fiends. Assuming that information is true, it can be inferred that blood fiends are difficult foes that require a certain expertise to defeat. Now that I'm thinking about it, if blood bags are like mindless thralls to blood fiends, then they're kind of like their private army, right? A being of power who can create a force of their own without concern for lowered morale of desertion. Wartime or not, they will always make for a formidable foe. The each exchange various opinions with one another, possible strategies, estimations of the Blood Fiend's strength, and all of a sudden... Fie! On this indecisive idleness, our quest is to defeat the villain who has brought such pain and misery upon this train, is it not? It may be vaporizing the lifeblood of the innocent as we speak. Mighty or feeble, I care not. I swear upon mine honor that I shall smite this foe and let my hand of justice be judged of their fate. Let us hasten now. DQ's sudden outburst immediately put a stop to the chatter. She's not wrong. Besides, we have to deal with the Blood Fiend to complete our contract. With that, I opened the door leading to the final car of this train.
정리가 예상보다 일찍 끝났군. 보고서는 내가 작성해 둘 테니 다음 정리 전에 휴식을 취하도록.
Ooh, nice.
파우스트, 전투 시작합니다.
Costs a module now. This room. What is with that look on thy faces? What is with that look on thy faces?
Thou standest in the audience of the prince, where are thy obsequious smiles?
He must be the cause of this outbreak. The Blood Fiend we must defeat. Who the fuck are you?
Fall to thy knees and grovel before royalty!
Who the hell are you to make those demands?
I shall impart this upon thee only once, so listen well. You may call me Cassetti, Sixth Kindred, a kindred of the sixth generation, the rightful prince and refuge from his family.
Cassetti. Of course. Cassetti was the, he's from the Murder on the Orient Express. He's one of the characters. I'm like, wait a minute, what's Cassetti from? Art thou the villain who hath brought such destruction and massacre upon this vessel?
Thou art a chatty one, so rudely before your prince! Yet I am feeling generous, for I am quite sated at the moment. As thou must have seen on thy journey here, this place is a hall of banquet for a feast most majestic. No matter how many blood bags I create, no matter how much I devour them, the humans just won't stop coming. I only enjoy what was cast into my maw. He dons a mask for the purpose of merrymaking. If we're really going to exchange pleasantries, why don't you take that mask off? Do you not even know the basic etiquette? Oh, nice throwing a bone. Oh, this mask won't come off. Can't take it off. Shouldn't take it off. Well, there's no prince without a mask. We're so ugly behind the mask, so we all decided to hide how repulsive we've become. But once I've drunk your blood full, then it'll all go back to how it used to be. Only then I can unmask myself. Who stitched that mask on your face skin? Not a half-bad job. Of course, it's excellent! Because this mask was crafted by none other than the great, the eminent, the barber himself, whose name I dare not even speak, but it hurts so much. No, I'm smiling. Look how hard look how hard I'm smiling and laughing. Yes, I am the prince. That's what I am.
He's the bloody loon, innit? All right, done with the giggles then. Get ready for the beating of your life.
I enjoy things like you and your friends. Don't cry, bawling and bowing and sniveling on the ground for your lives. Lunge at me instead. The aggression, the boiling blood. Oh, how I love the fire.
What are you, daft? Look around. There's 13 of us and only one of you.
Do not let your guard down, Heathcliff. This entity has managed to turn countless passengers of this train into his blood bags.
I ain't letting my guard down, but we blasted through so many blood bags we couldn't even keep count, didn't we?
Couldn't even keep count? Oh, no. But the count is so important, I have to keep count for our visitors. Yes, of course, I do remember to keep count of our dearest visitors. Yes, sir, I do. You have no idea how powerful I am, and I shall not relinquish my throne to thee from this budding kingdom. All I have you do is sit here and do nothing, and the blood bags present themselves before me. There's no paradise like this out there. You have no idea what I did to create this place. Oh, how elated my forebear kingdoms would be, should they be here to witness what I have created. This cornucopia of abundance, this pleasure, oh, this freedom. But this kingdom is mine. I made it mine. I'm not giving it away. This is rather curious. It appears that this blood fiend leaves this car only on rare occasions. Yet we have seen signs of his insidious influence throughout every car we have visited so far. Then what he meant by how the blood bags present themselves before he asked to be.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah!
A figure suddenly and frantically charged into this car. It was Sasha, the fixer we ran into in one of the earlier cars. Cassetti shrinks into his throne at a sudden burst, terror apparent on his face. Ah, it is thee! By thee hast thou duly journeyed here to assist us in our quest? Lo, that villain is the blood fiend responsible for the tragedies that has transpired aboard this train. Help us slay that cur and eventually lead us to the passengers thou hast protected thus far out of this train. Blood fiends. What if there was more than a single blood fiend on board? One still capable of rational thought. Damn, you actually made it all the way back here. I guess the wings don't give out contracts to just anyone. I fought to my damnedest too, till I was the last one standing. What's she talking about? In the end, I stood alone with nothing but a single one of these forearms left. Kind of funny how the perspective on life can just completely flip when you're really, really in the shit. I think my last thoughts were, man, I don't want to die. So I fell on my knees and pleaded. I told him that, DQ, watch out! I'd do anything to live! Blood rapidly crystallized around Sasha like a suit of armor as she swung her great swords at the sinners, striking them even before Faust finished her sentence. Ah!
What did I say? I commanded you to give me a warning before jumping in like that. Don't you know how loud your stupid arms are? I thought the family had come for me.
I'm sorry, Lord Cassetti.
Allow me to introduce my kindred to thee, to be the first of many since my escape for the kingdom I intend to build. My kindred, my loyal squire, who shall be at my side as I build dynasty of my own, my family.
Lord Cassetti, I had intended to select the more powerful of the bunch to send to this car, as you have commanded me, but the humans in my car were all weaklings. So I present you before you this group from the first class car.
Kindred. Are you even aware of the exact nature of a kindred?
Nah, but I can tell you this. When I accepted my lord's blood in my veins, it was as though I was reborn.
I see. A kindred to a blood fiend is like a sub-entity, similar to sub-entities created by distortions or abnormalities. It must have been desperation that drove you to accept that proposition without hesitation, despite the lack of relevant information. Yeah, the next chapter is going to be about DQ.
Maybe that's probably what's going through my head before I became a kindred. Thou hast been in cohorts with this villain all this time, as his underling. Even ere then, when we first laid up our eyes upon thee. Lady, you have no idea how much I freaked out when one of you asked me something about red eyes. Not that it would have mattered if you did suspect me, though, since my red eyes is just prosthetic. And the passengers who are under thy protection.
Haven't I told you that the count matters? The longer the line, the better.
Dozens of blood bags began shambling into the room from behind Sasha. A smaller one among them stood out to me. My mind immediately snapped to the child who grabbed DQ's coattails. I knew that the passengers were dead the moment we realized Sasha was a blood fiend, but this... I really, really hoped that I wouldn't have to face this reality. Not like this. There was a child! Yeah, little runt wanted to be a fixer if she got to grow up. Good thing she won't, though. I can tell you on good authority that living as a blood bag is way better than a drudgery that is the life of a fixer. Believe me, I know. Hold thy vile tongue. Dreaming of becoming a famous, respected fixer? And an actor of justice? It's all just a stupid pipe dream that always ends in crushing disappointment or a really, really early grave. Silence! DQ did not give Sasha time to finish her sentence. She was already charging full speed at her with her lance drawn. Surprised DQ doesn't have a some sort of buff. Also, let's go, new music. They're all starting off with a very low amount of health.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Not a good sign for me, I bet.
Yeah, these guys, they're just... Oh, no. No, they're the same. Didn't realize this was a focused encounter. The train's coming.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Favorite, huh?
벌써 끝나는
핫!
앞을 막을 자는 없어.
모을 필요는 없겠군요.
What's going on back there? There's Sasha. Oh boy.
내가 눈에 새겨주지. 공간을 뭉갠다.
다음은 어디요?
Bloodthirst. Oh, it's because of the sanity.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
Get space ripped.
제압 완료. 승객 복원 준비.
이상 승객을 정리합니다.
Unbelievable! My first kindred to be created without their authorization. Is this bumbling fool?
I pray for your forgiveness, my parent.
Be gone from my sight! At least thou hast brought me blood bags for sustenance. Yet it must be the responsibility of a parent to clean up the mess of his child.
What a load of shit.
With that, Cassetti reached out toward a pile of blood bags on the ground and gave him the suck. Oh, what abundance! I'd nearly forgotten this sensation. An armor of hardened blood materialized over the blood fiend's body. His sheer aggression and hatred was palpable enough to make our skin crawl. It appears that he has empowered himself by reaping their blood. Though my power has yet to fully return, this magnificent armor is quite befitting of a parade for the prince who hath become a king. Wouldst thou agree? Yes, sir, yes you do, course you do. Challenge me now, O rebel, challenge thy king.
Oh, fuck.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
Nah, it should be good. We're all charged up, ready to go.
공간을 뭉갠다.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
Unclashable. Double the amounts. Double the amount healed by Hard Blood Glaive. Reset SP to 0. Inflict 2 bleed. Bleed, 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 bleed. Alright. Try to get a little healing out. Nice. Good stagger. Fucker. Just standing there, menacingly.
가려면 자, 여기구나.
Wrong way.
전부 찢어버리겠네.
Or was that unclashable? Nope.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하다. 결국 떠돌아가는 길에서 이렇게.
그대에게 보이는 이 전기 불꽃은 무슨 색을 띠고 있는가? 헛! 자!
내가 너를 위해 기도할 것이니 넌 반드시 부서진다.
Man, that bleed sure is something, huh?
이상 승객을 정리합니다. 아하.
자!
He's out of blood.
Enter Sinclair.
Bring the band-aids.
당신의 판단을 따를게요.
Get space ripped, dummy.
자, 버텨보라고. 딱 죽을 만큼 튀겨질 테니까.
That'll do it.
It hurts! It hurts, it hurts! Yes, I love your boiling human blood. But this is too painful.
This guy keeps regenerating. Know how many times we tear him to pieces. Ugh. I don't know if we can. The mental fatigue finally got to Gregor and Sinclair, who collapsed to the ground. The strange environment of warp trains was proving to be a significant help to the Blood Fiend's regenerative ability. This fight's been dragging on even longer than our battles at the K-Core, border checkpoint, or the basement of Wuthering Heights. I knew that the sinners had all grown strong since then, but I felt as though I stood before an impenetrable wall. Uh-oh. DQ's about to freak out! What's up, MD? Don Quixote continues to wildly pummel the Blood Fiend with her lance, breaking, stabbing, and crushing him every time a body part regenerates.
I am so hungry.
Ridiculous! Thy hunger is no justification for this massacre thou hast wrought!
Shut up! You don't understand. You don't know how awful it is to survive on that disgusting blood for 200... No, I don't even want to think about it. Shut up, be quiet. No, I'm sorry. Please, just let me have a sip. Just the smallest sip, please. It's all useless, no matter how many times you stab me.
I shan't stop until all thy flesh and bone and organs are crushed into vicious, shapeless mush, never to become whole again. But the Blood Fiend's regeneration is powerful. He's regenerating as fast as DQ is destroying him. He's regenerating at an insane rate. We can't.
Ah, my kindred, my child. I have given thee new life, invited thee to this banquet. So do thy responsibilities. The blessings of a parent must be repaid, no?
Well, what can I do?
Ride their weakness, break their anchor, make them kneel and grovel before me in desperation, just as you had.
Wait, I think I got an idea. Sasha began looking around wildly, surprised by Cassetti's sudden command. It's the way they fight. It reminds me a lot of the way we prosthetic using fixers fight. Just as prosthetic fixers slowly lose their sense of self-preservation, their limbs becoming no more important than tools to be replaced. These idiots act with such abandon as if they had multiple lives to burn through. Uh-oh. With nothing to protect, they throw themselves wildly into battle like moths to a flame. And forget to look after what's really important, like this thing. With one of her remaining arms, Sasha picked up the master card key Foss showed her in one of the previous cars. Don Quixote, stop her now! Oh, my parent, I offered this gift to you. Yeah. DQ immediately leaped at the fixer, but one of her arms struck her away with great force. Ishmael and Mersault, who had been holding Cassetti down, were no match for his strength without Don Quixote's fury. The Blood Fiend threw them both to the side and grabbed the keycard. This is the key to the first-class cause, my lord. With this, grow your army of blood bags to bring glory to the kingdom. No. I thought Sasha was gonna attack Dante, but I guess the keycard's also a big thing, too. Cassetti examines the master keycard with clear interests. Without that keycard, we'll be trapped inside this train for thousands of years until it reaches its destination. Dante, I believe myself to be trying my utmost to overcome this adversity. without access to Faust's knowledge and intelligence. However, with our loss of the Master Keycard, the uncertainty of this circumstance has greatly exacerbated. At the origin of this obstacle, Faust took a deep breath as if she was about to take a deep dive into the source of all this trouble. Must be my over-reliance on Faust. From what I can tell, Faust has always been operating based on information she received from Faust. So a situation like this, where she has to make decisions on her own, has to be unfamiliar to her. But Faust is an admirable sinner, with or without Faust. I've been thinking the same thing about myself, actually. I might have been relying too much on that perfect Faust. But even without Faust, you still gave us all good directions to follow after analyzing the information we brought you. Maybe uncertainty itself doesn't always have to be a problem for us. Remember, thus the lack of plan itself becomes the plan. You said it yourself. I see. Indeed, among many, I am Faust that believes in uncertainty. Our loss of the Master Keycard is but one of the innumerable uncertain variables in the equation. The constant is, however, that the Blood Fiend is just as desperate as we are. Thus, the only option that remains at present is to compromise.
Here there. Looks like thou art the one who's been regenerating your friends. Stop doing this, alright? Don't heal a single one of them, or I'll smash your precious key to pieces!
Manager! Compromise? To compromise with a villain as vile as that cur? I didn't have the time to regenerate DQ's severe injuries just yet, and the rest of the sinners were already unconscious. The only sinner who could still move and talk normally was Faust, whom I just rewound the clock for. Yeah, let's do that. Very well then. Cassetti, why don't we move this conversation to a different location? Only I will accompany Dante to this negotiation. I will make my intentions clear now. Dante and I will not attack you there. There's no doubt in my mind that Cassetti must be absolutely exhausted by the unending barrage of attacks from DQ and the Sinners. Faust's suggestion that we move this conversation to a different place without the Sinners must have been a sweet one.
Just you two, huh?
Yes, the freight car is immediately adjacent to this one. That is where we will further discuss what we each have to offer to one another.
That cloth must be the monarch that, and thou art one of the retainers.
Correct.
Very well, this will be a royal debate. Then it is only right that the royalty talks to no one else but the one who is his equal.
Manager! We'll be back in a minute, DQ. Thus we left the incapacitated Sinners and Don Quixote, who watched on with hollow, despondent eyes as we walked away. We carefully made our way to the freight car. It looks exactly like the throne room. So Faust, why are we doing this in the freight car again? Oh, is he gonna yo, if they feed him to the fucking Mephistopheles, just push him into the car. That'd be great! Dante, this will be my first attempt at a gamble. What? With that, the door closed shut behind us. What's up, Wooly? And how you doing, Random?
소위 말하는 엘리트. 나 승진시켜 주시오, 관리자나리.
That rip spaceman at the end.
Negotiation.
So this passageway leads straight to Mephistopheles.
This is where it all started. This stupid bus awoke me from my slumber. If only this bus hadn't completely filled up the freight car. I wasn't planning to start the parade so soon, or create a kindred here.
Ah, so he was just in his casket, minding his own business. Dante? The connection has been restored. Connection? The suddenness of her statement briefly knocked me off my train of thought. I looked at her and cocked my head in confusion, and she replied with an even quieter whisper, without looking away from the blood fiend. Boarding Mephistopheles has re-established my connection to Faust. Cha-cha-ching! Did you know that this would work? No. And as I have stated before, this was pure, incalculable gamble based on my own uncertain hypothesis. This success helps me somewhat comprehend Miss Radya's fascination with gambling. A faint smile appeared on Faust's lip for a moment before fading away. Now that the connections have been re-established, I would like to make a complaint against the Shaft management regarding the fact that they neglected to list the information pertaining to the loss of connection within the interiors of the warp trains. Yeah, fucking get those mods on the phone! Finding a solution to this situation takes precedence. I have much reason to believe that their omission was done on purpose, but I hope such is not the case. Your first 10 pull? I did a 10 pull at the beginning of the stream and I got Potential Man. Faust gently advanced toward the Blood Fiend. I mean, I have enough chest I can just buy or dispense, but it's always nice to try the gamble at the gotcha. Let us discuss the details of our compromise. What are you willing to accept in return for the Master Keycard? Potential Man! I'm assuming Charon is in a sleepy pod with Virgil.
If thou wert just anyone, I would have wished to turn thee all into blood bags and drink every last drop of thy blood, but thou art unlike a common person. My wish is to maintain the secrecy this kingdom of mine for as long as possible, and thine wish is to leave this place, right? Once I relinquish to thee this keycard, and once thou returnest to your first-class seats, we'll live here happily ever after like nothing happened. And when the train gets there, you get off the train, everything goes back to the way they're supposed to. How's that for a deal? Like nothing happened. Faust, what about the job we were contracted to do in the first place? Our memories and any signs of battle will be entirely erased upon our arrival. We will have no way to relay our news, whether one of success or failure. If we had the means to defeat him, then at least W Corps would inform us that our contract was successful after the fact. However, this current scenario will leave us with nothing to show for, not even the smallest hint, and the contract will end in failure. However, what takes precedence over the contract is you and the sinner's psychological stability. It's not like we've always been successful, so that was something I could live with, but what about the other passengers of this train, and its future passengers? I remember the look on DQ's face whenever we would come across these inevitable forms of injustice. Faust does not reply. Yet the lack of reply was a reply all on its own. We're gonna have to let them die. Innocent lives will be lost, but we cannot prioritize their lives over our safety. That must be Faust's and the company's policy. And yet... Fucking DQ! Let's fucking go! I shan't allow this! DQ. I thought her wounds were too severe for her to even crawl, let alone walk, but with sheer will, she pushed herself through the pain to reach the freight car. I will not tolerate this! We cannot let this vile wretch live and turn a blind eye to everything he's done! It's her again! What? You want to stay here for what is essentially an eternity within this train? I know the truth. Everything hinges on this key, doesn't it? As soon as I break this in half, you'll have to spend the eons inside this! I care not!
I would welcome the eon should it mean eons of penance for thee. 'Tis much preferable to letting thy villainy go unanswered. Let this place be the site of thine eternal judgment. Faust and I grabbed DQ. She'd normally be strong enough to wriggle free of our grip, but she'd already pushed herself beyond her limits merely by walking here. Faust, unhand me! Thou mustn't let him live, Manager Esquire! DQ, letting him destroy that key means you'll be condemning the sinners to thousands of years of torment. And I shall fill the millennia with the tales of legend I had read in the magazines. No time, however infinite, shall be too great to overcome, should we endeavor as one. Certainly you are aware that your suggestion is no solution at all, DQ. Then there has to be another way, no? Thou art both possessors of great wisdom. Faust, Manager Esquire, is there truly no path in which we may bring justice to the villain and the sinners remain unharmed? Her struggle begins to wane. Is Don Quixote gonna distort? Her struggle begins to wane, but this was no acceptance, this was dejection. Wait, DQ, no! In the commotion, we failed to notice that the Blood Fiend had been quietly advancing at us. We let Don Quixote go at the last second. But we were a second too late. Is she gonna get an ego? Her own personal ego? Oh, my dearest parent, forgive my transgressions of creating another. Oh no! Without thy sanction! No! Thou shalt become the second kindred of mine! Cassetti screams incoherently as he leaps onto Don Quixote, piercing her neck with his fangs before we even had a chance to do anything. Oh, I did not expect this to be the solution. Faust, what have you made? The solution! According to this information I had viewed in the past, and once again, just now, it's... Dante, take cover behind me and remain absolutely still. I feel like Don Quixote is gonna turn into, that one chick from, Hellsing. Police girl. Nuts. Vampire nuts. And please do note that the other sinners must never hear a word of what is about to happen. Ceres Victoria, exactly. Ah, I had such a crush on her! Oh. Don Quixote levitates slightly into the air, the strings on her shoes unraveling as they slip off her feet on their own. She looks on with bewilderment as her running shoes fall to the floor. And... oh no, the shoes! Rocinante! I've always had this question this question swirling at the unfocused backstage of my mind. Why are you always so protective of those running shoes, Don Quixote? Quixote? Running shoes. Ah. Dost thou speak of our dear Rocinante? Yeah, those. I have battled through thick and thin, feast and famine with dear Rocinante, in sorrow and in joy, no matter the brutality of trials that has struck me. It has been a loyal steed by my side for however long it has been in existence. She doesn't know when she got them. Ah, Manager Esquire. Wait, is Don Quixote actually just the shoes? Manager Esquire, wherefore hast thou not saluted Rocinante as well? This may be a rather auspicious occasion to do so. Nope, I think I'm good. Ah, be not so bashful, go on ahead. Looks stinky. Small girl is torturing TikTok with Stinky. Stinky they are not, scuffed as they may appear. Rocinante is pristine condition. Also, thou shalt not address me as small girl. Evacuate.
Don Quixote, don't tell me you go to sleep wearing those running shoes. I mean, Rocinante.
Oh, I have always been quite certain that someone so esteemed as the manager esquire would care to ask me how Rocinante fares.
I didn't mention that this question was inspired by numerous eyewitness reports from other sinners who saw her wandering the halls in her pajamas and wearing Rocinante.
Verily, Rocinante and I remain bound together, even in slumber. There shall be no separating the two of us. We are bound not by need nor want. We are simply bound together through plight and delight.
Now that I think about it, every single identity of Don Quixote was also wearing those pairs of running shoes. Rocinante. She's gonna have like some weird fucking shit in her feet. Wiki Feet's about to get really disappointed, I bet. Have you ever taken them off?
Take them off? Fie! Whatever dost thou mean? As in detached Rocinante from my body? 'Tis a very odd insinuation thou maketh.
She looks at me with puzzled eyes as though taking those pairs of running shoes off was somehow an inconceivable idea. Oh, so you about to go fucking nuts? Rocinante stays on in the bed. They were something much more than just her favorite pair of running shoes, her odd attitude of treating something so far removed from common sense as something completely ordinary. What does Rocinante mean to Don Quixote? What even is that thing?
An overwhelming, powerful pressure suddenly explodes, radiating in all directions.
As the metallic stench of blood suffocates the bus, filling every corner of it with sickening horror. Then darkness.
No. No! That's impossible!
In the all-absorbing darkness, voice is our only light.
You are the second kindred now, did you? I should have felt your presence.
I do think I saw a faint outline of an aura. I see a red aura and a long fur adornment of sorts. Through the shimmering aura, I think I saw red eyes.
You have committed
The sin of transgression. I know that voice, but I also don't. I've never heard it in such a low, imposing tone before. The feet! Take your pictures now, boys! Get those toes out! It speaks towards the lesser being. The blood fiend, shriveled and kneeling, trembling, pathetic.
Mercy, O venerated ancestor! I beg for the mercy of the second kindred! I beg for the mercy of the second kindred! I beg for the... Insolent worm!
Crimson drops of blood slowly rise around the blood fiend's mouth before congealing and sealing his mouth shut.
No language worming its way out of your maw shall be worth mine ears. No. To commit the sin of Philly.
The fuck is that word?
Philia. Faliel.
To commit the sin of Philel and Pili by attempting to travel against the bloodstream. To commit such abomination against your ancestor. I cannot, well, sanction your impudence of continued existence.
Philelal.
Coagulate, then melt away.
Cassetti's body begins liquefying into a slick stream of blood, his form curdling and crumbling, then dripping to the ground. Rapidly, yet ponderously, like that ice cream Don Quixote loved so much, melting away on the floor, heated under the searing sun.
Oh shit, dude.
Don Quixote turned to look at me, who was still on the ground after being thrown by the shockwave. And with a cryptic look of pity, she uttered something.
Indeed, you must be the promised timepiece.
Something I couldn't quite understand.
Rocinante to me.
Rocinante.
I beseech you.
I carefully reached out, grabbed her shoes, and slipped them onto her bare feet, one by one.
One day.
She gasped, stumbled, and slumped to the ground. So, I guess that's DQ's power limiter is her shoes. Sometime later.
Can somebody explain what just happened in a way that makes sense?
I knew that the sinners would all be shocked and confused. After all, when they, including Faust and Don Quixote, all came back to life after I rewound the clock, all that remained was the destroyed door to the freight car and the disgusting, obliterated remains of what was once Cassetti. Most personnel had lost consciousness from the mental stress of the prolonged battle against the Blood Fiend. Whatever measure it was that the manager has taken, it can be said that it was appropriate.
I guess so. Well, good work, everyone.
However, the definition of most personnel exclude 3 individuals, therefore it would be most appropriate to direct any questions to them.
Wait.
Who are those 3? Faust, Manager, and Don Quixote, who is still unconscious.
Huh, really? The 3 of you? Wow, you were spot on. When did you even have the time to notice that? Oh boy.
I have identified the 3 conscious individuals by analyzing their walking cadence and voices moments before my loss of consciousness.
Right, so what's going on with the lass? Why is she out cold?
She appears to be in a state of deep slumber. As she is not at risk of death, she will be waking up soon. So,
I think everyone's gonna forget what happened, except for Dante, because Dante is resistant to that mind-wiping shit. So that's gonna be, perhaps brought up sometime later. And it's gonna be like, Dante's gonna be like, DQ, give me your shoes.
I remember everything, of course. Don Quixote's sudden transformation. How she practically erased the Blood Fiend and his kindred from the world without even moving a finger. But I also remember Faust's last words. And please, do note that the other sinners must never hear a word of what is about to happen. Don Quixote was unconscious and Faust was answering every question with silence. It was only natural that their eyes would fall all to me.
That's, you know.
Yeah, I think Faust also knows too. She has her little network, but knowing Faust, she would not tell people about it. Until it's very prevalent.
Wait, that reminds me. Where's the keycard?
Last I remember, it was in Cassetti's hands. He was in a far more presentable state than he was in before. Wait, so what about the keycard he was holding, though? It has been half liquefied. The remains have melded with his finger bones. It appears to have become one with the middle phalanges. Uh-oh.
Oh no, everyone calm down, calm down, calm down!
I really should have packed more cigarettes, huh? How about we force one of the doors open? The master keycard is not an absolutely necessary element to resolving the situation. Yeah, just go to bed in the Mephistopheles.
How? It will require approximately 5 hours to formulate and proceed with an explanation in a manner that will allow the sinners to fully comprehend the exact how of this methodology. Therefore, it will be delivered to you in digestible, summarized format. Well, that was short-lived. She's acting all smug again. We can utilize the back door of Mephistopheles. Yeah, of course. The steely confidence in her declaration was more than enough to win us all over. So we headed to the corridor past the back door, Don Quixote slung over one of our shoulders, and arrived at our destination. Just, there we go, all done. Virgil's just sitting there like, what the fuck did you do? I cannot ask what happened after seeing the state you are all in. I can't not. Sandy patter. Grains of sand and seashell-like things fell with every step the sinners took. Someone after me. To explicate, it can. Grains of sand roll about in my throat with every word spoken. Some time ago. Faust explained the simpler gist of the plan as we made our way to the back door. To put it simply, we will spend the time at a space disconnected from the train. The train should be arriving at its destination in approximately 10 seconds, going by the A-core timescale. All we must do is to remain somewhere in our original dimension for that duration. And with that, Faust came to a sudden stop in the middle of one of the corridors. Wait. Are you seriously gonna just open the door? With this many doors in here, you sure that's the right one? Yep, this is the correct door. Its safety is completely ensured. At least tell us what's past that door. I did not bother verifying that particular information myself. It is necessary for future endeavors that I gain the experience of encountering something completely unexpected. What? Oi! Faust did not wait for Heathcliff to finish his sentence before jerking the door wide open. Now please enter through this door. With Faust's stern command, we quickly walked into a building that looked like a derelict, abandoned hospital of sorts. I think we walked into the middle of a sandstorm. Hey, this is where I live. I can see my house. Are we supposed to be indoors? How the heck is this even happening? I can't open my eyes! I got sand in my mouth! Wait, no, is this a sandstorm? We aren't inside a building? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The sinners blurted out colorful series of complaints, trying to cover themselves in the blasting sandstorm. But Faust continued to count in that same indifferent rhythm before dragging us out there just as urgently as she had herded us in. So, we managed to return safe and sound to the interiors of the warp train as it arrived at the P-core platforms. As the train was still getting cleaned up, that is, and with our bodies completely covered in sand. I thought we'd never make it out. Whoa, hey, you guys okay? How did these passengers... We were so happy to be done with the whole ordeal that even the W-Core cleanup agents in the middle of cleanup mission looked downright hospitable. We are employees of Limbus Company. We boarded the warp train at the behest of your employer. Ah, so you guys are the people that our captain told us about. They really let you guys keep your memories, huh? Oh, that reminds me. One of the employees must be sleeping inside that hibernation pod over there. Oh, that, huh? I've never seen it in action before. Thanks, let me go check. That hidden compartment behind the chair that the cleanup agent crawled into. Inside it was... there isn't anyone in here. Uh-oh. Maybe we're looking at the wrong pod. This is the correct spot. Then the disappearance of the individual who has entered the pod would indicate... I guess these folks aren't all there, and the head either. Maybe you guys are just mistaken. I doubt that. Yes, we must have suffered from a momentary collective hallucination caused by fatigue. Very well then, we will see ourselves out. You want to think that was another blood fiend?
Faust cut the conversation short before the other sinners began asking too many questions. Now that I became intimately familiar with the meaning of that gesture, I followed her to the outside without another word. Ah! We have arrived! Rise and shine, lass! Had enough nap yet? Ah, I see. I will hear the details of the incident on the bus once we travel again. Understood. Any and all relevant reports will be sent to W Corps via LCCA. And Virgilius was already there when we arrived. He was sharing conversation with Faust about what went down inside that train with a serious expression. Leave with Charon and watch the unfastened Mephistopheles from the train. The minute hand on the manager's head seems to be desperately signaling me that they have a lot of burning questions to ask you. Allow me to give you two some space. I was finally able to ask Faust once Virgilius left. Why did you do that? Faust's body was quite literally blasted to pieces from the sheer explosive pressure that filled the room the moment DQ's shoes came off. Okay, so Faust did not see what happened. It was as though she knew it was going to happen. DQ has incredibly stinky feet. That's exactly what happened. Because it was the preferable course of action to having the same explosive demise occur to your body instead? I do find it regrettable that you were made to turn the clock despite my knowledge of the high likelihood of my death upon that occurrence. No, I'm not blaming you for that. I just want to know how long you've known that. Don Quixote that is something I have been aware of since the LCB was first established. The same could be said of Virgilius. Of course. However, it was by the will of the LCA superiors that this knowledge remains withheld from the manager until the appropriate moment. And that appropriate moment was back there. According to my private judgment, yes. Well, as my connection to all communications, including one to Faust, had been severed, I was not in a position to receive the headquarters' authorization for that action. Right. Though the full truth may remain obscured still. We are once again returned. Returned. That was a layered word. We've returned to one of the warp platforms to our own dimension. We've returned to our daily lives of speculating about what's next in our path, and the usual Faust, reconnected to Faust, has returned. Yes. Faust replied to Yi Sang's nebulous wording with a quiet affirmation. Please do not take this query with any greater import than a mere jest. However, do you suppose I shall see her again? She shot a puzzled look at Yi Sang. In a way, it was quite the pleasant encounter, was it not? Oh yeah, he definitely knows. Like you said earlier, he ain't no dum-dum. Yi Sang mused ambiguously before leaving. Whew! The incident at the warp train was such a chaotic mess that it felt shorter than it really was, but I also learned so much about so many things. But it was too soon to start racking our brains about what kind of nonsense trial we were about to face in P Corps, so I decided to enjoy this momentary peace. Yeah. How did we find ourselves a P Corps? Wherefore is my throat so parched? I'm too tired to explain. Chiquita, you missed out big time on one crazy adventure. Oh! That vibrated the last few grains of the sand out of my ears. The sinners looked at DQ's bewildered awakening, grinning. There's no way to know what we'll be facing here at District 16, where P Corps was located, but we got this, right? The same faith I saw in the Faust who believes in uncertainty rises within me, too. I looked up to Faust, only to see that Faust was looking at me as well.
She nodded at me with her usual barely noticeable smile, and I gave her a light nod back in return. Time to go find ourselves another golden bow. Look at this train station. That's a good looking train station. Let's get all our lunacy. So I just do this over and over and over again. What do we got? We got 14,000. Wow. What's up, Biscuit? How do I feel about this one? I did not expect the ending, that's for sure. Definitely not expected.
이야, 시간 한번 더럽게 잘 가네.
Slow as shite. Grab all those. Grab all those. We'll slap down another one of these guys, since, oh, I guess two of these guys. Streamer luck, streamer luck. Oh, look at that! We got streamer luck. Let's go! Ah! Two of them. Let's go. Double streamer luck. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, here we go.
다수의 결함이 존재합니다만 파우스트가 이 허점 투성이 계획을 완전 무결하게 만들어드리죠.
Did we get the ego? Did we get the ego? Ah, the stinky Sinclair. I'll do it again. No. We'll just. It's a lot. We'll do one more. Nah. We'll save. Oh, thank you. An extra 300 right there. Yeah, I'm saving it. So you gotta do with gacha, you can always save. That's right. It's all about the Otis, though. I mean, Dawn. I do like Dawn. I really do like Dawn. Dawn's great. Yeah, I got a lot of lunacy. I'm ready for Walpurgis. I'm ready. Not too sure when this will happen. Actually, I think they posted a roadmap, didn't they? I feel like they posted a roadmap recently. There it is, roadmap. Let's see. In August is going to be the Wild Hunt for Heathcliff, and then it looks like Walpurgis is going to be September. Towards the end of August, there's going to be an improved window UI. It looks like September is going to be Walpurgi. There's going to be 2 more side quests, and then October is going to be when the next Kanto is. So there we go. There we go. That'll hold you off until the next one.
그대가 본인을 방치하더라도 본인 정도 되는 직원에게는 그리 길지 않은 시간일 뿐이니.
Thank you. Thank you, DQ. I will not mind you. Alright, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you again very soon. So take care, stay well, and bye-bye for now.